Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew it all.
Hey folks, welcome back. So I just did a video on my phone, but through the magic of editing, you're going to see this video first. I have been out working on my truck, my Kenworth. That's why I'm wearing the dirty clothes and I look a little grungy. Pardon me for that, but I just walked back in and wanted to do this quick intro for this video. This has been an ongoing problem with me in this truck for 3 or 4 years now, ever since that I owned the truck. The trucking company, I actually bought this truck from a trucking company. They told me that they had ran the truck since 2006. They were the second owner. The first owner of the truck only had it for 1 year, and they had ran the truck for this whole time up until about 4 years ago whenever I bought the truck. So they said it was a great truck. They never really had any major problems out of it, just regular maintenance. Supposedly it's got an engine rebuild, but they don't have paperwork on the engine rebuild. But anyway, regardless of all that stuff, this problem that I was having with my truck, like I said in the video that's coming up that I will post here shortly, I've been having this same problem over and over. I thought it was an intermittent problem, like an electrical problem with the truck. It turns out it wasn't whatsoever. And it wasn't until I just replaced this water pump that I actually found out what was wrong with the truck. And I'm going to post some pictures up here, do some explaining. I'm going to try to make this video as fluid as possible to try to show you what exactly happened with my truck. Well, just because a part looks similar, it doesn't always mean that it is the same. And that's a problem that we're having a lot with Chinese aftermarket parts. Sometimes because they look like the right part, they may not be. They may not be the right part at all. Or they may be, slightly off to where they don't work properly. Or, it's just a junk part that doesn't even work at all. I think this is going to be an interesting video. It has thrown me for a loop for 3 or 4 years, like I say. I've been having trouble with overheating, the alternator not working right, my charging system not working right. A big, huge mess of different problems. That's why it made it so hard for me to diagnose, and I've had it to multiple mechanics, multiple ones. The one thing that kept throwing everybody off is I would run the truck, park it somewhere. When I'd go back to start it, it wouldn't start. The engine was seized. I mean, just completely seized. While it set, it seized. And people were saying that's not possible. How could it be running and then you shut the engine off and it seizes up? And I found out that when you put new batteries and a new starter on it, it fired up. But there was not really anything that wrong with the old batteries and the old starter to where it wouldn't even turn the vehicle over. It would just sit there and grunt and grunt and grunt until it just burnt the starter up. One time that it did happen, I was out in New Mexico and I wasn't even at a truck stop. I was just at a parking area out in the desert. No phone reception, no way of even doing it. And I just kept messing with it. Finally, the truck started and I took off, and I didn't shut it off again until I got back home to Arkansas. So, whew, that was a relief. But anyway, without further ado, here's this video. I'll put the pictures up here and show you the difference in it and everything. Really interesting video. Hope you stick around for it. Hey guys, I wanted to do a video here about this right here. If hopefully you can see that. This is, I'll show you on the truck here. This is my belt tensioners. One goes here and one goes here. If you can see that, hopefully you can. That's belt tensioner. Here's your keyway hole on it. New belt, as you can see. And the other one, it goes back in there. Think you can see it, hopefully, right in that area. So what I wanted to tell you was, on this truck, this is a 2005 C15 Caterpillar, and it's my Kenworth, obviously. But I did get the water pump replaced. That is some silicone. There's some oil leaking out right there at the this is actually the engine cover, the front engine cover here. This part here is your water pump. I was been meaning to do some videos on this as I was changing the water pump, but I didn't. But I was wanting to go over it now because I just found out some stuff that I thought was interesting. This silicone is because there is a crack here. Some person, I will keep my profanities to myself here, but some person stuck something in there, some type of wedge, drove it in there to pull the water pump off, and they put a big gouge right there on the oil side of the water pump. So now whenever my truck runs, it leaks oil out of it, and I put the silicone on there. Hopefully that will stop it. It looks bad, I'll admit, it does look bad, but there's really no other way to fix it besides to get a complete new engine cover for the front of the truck. So we're not going to do that. This is an old truck. It's got 1.5 million on it. I'm not going to the extent of putting an entire front structure on this truck. Getting back to the belt tensioners, that is what these are right here. What you will notice is, let me turn these over here. What you will notice is, here is your key. Here is your key. These tensioners are exactly the same. I thought the whole time that I've owned this truck, that's the way that it's supposed to be. Same tensioner for the bottom, for the top, same one, no issue, no problem, right? Okay, well, here is my dilemma that I have been having issues with. This truck will randomly seize up. I have fought with this truck. I have put new injectors in it. I have put 3, I think, alternators on it. I have put 2 water pumps on it. I have put probably 5 sets of batteries, 5 starters. I will show you in here in my garage. Walk in here with me. I have a starter there. I have a starter here. And I have another one over there. I don't want to walk over there right now, but there's another one over there that's in pieces. And there's a brand new one on the truck. So, like I said, this is like 5 starters that I have put on the truck. About 5 sets of batteries. And the engine was still seizing up. I was at a loss. I was absolutely at a loss. This was one of the reasons why I parked my truck and I quit being an owner operator. The truck was driving me nuts. Sorry, pardon me for the pun, but it was actually driving me nuts trying to keep up with the maintenance on it and figuring out what was wrong. And of course, everyone has the simple answer, of course, buy a new truck. Well, if you've watched my channel very much, you will know that I did buy a new Volvo, newer, 500,000 miles under factory warranty, and that truck almost bankrupted me. This truck, I know. So, what's the deal with the belt tensioners? Well, when I put the water pump on, I went and bought a new belt. That meant that I had to take the old belt off. I couldn't get the belt on there. I have owned this truck 3 or 4 years now. I could not get the belt on. This bottom tensioner, you're supposed to put, I have it here, this is a really nifty tool. If you guys don't have one, you should buy one. They have them at Harbor Freight. They have a lifetime warranty. It is a ratcheting pry bar. Short handle. It's not a ratchet. It's actually a pry bar. It's got indentions on it so you can turn it, to different settings. But it is what is called a ratcheting pry bar. It's got a lifetime warranty on it from Harbor Freight, so if you break it, you get a free one. It is their Pittsburgh brand. I'll show you there. Pittsburgh CR-V. So that works really well for this belt tensioner. When I was pulling the belt tensioner, you put the let me put the camera up. You put the pry bar in here and you pull this way. You pull back towards you to loosen the tension on the belt to get the belt off. Well, what I was running into as I was pulling to loosen the tension, it was actually increasing the tension on the belt. And that threw me off. I went to Kenworth, here where I live, talked to them about it, and they gave me a new belt tensioner, but it was for the new style Caterpillar engine. These belt tensioners are for the old style Caterpillar engine. You can see they are really odd looking belt tensioners, smaller. The new ones have a huge surface here at the top. This pulley on the bottom is about twice as big as these are. And when I started looking these up online, I kept coming up with the same thing that I've got here. The same position here, same pulley, same everything. I'm going to put in a picture right here and show you what the difference is. So if any Caterpillar person out there is having this problem, it may be that you have the wrong belt tensioner on there. Someone at some point before the ownership of me with this truck, changed this bottom belt tensioner, and they put the top belt tensioner on the bottom. These that I have, these two that I have on the bed of my truck, are actually both top belt tensioners. On this truck, you have two. One is the top, one is the bottom, and they're different. The only difference is this right here. This pin is located here on the other one. That way, when you turn this, you're loosening the tension. When you put it up here, it throws everything off, and whenever you turn it, it tightens the belt tension. So it's completely opposite of the other one. Anyway, so I wanted to bring that to you. I've got to order that belt tensioner to put on here, and once I get that done, hopefully the seizing of my engine will stop. Hopefully the overheating problem that I had will stop. Hopefully the battery being run down, the alternator wearing out prematurely, the battery problem will end. Maybe that one little problem, that one little fix will completely fix this engine and all of the symptoms and all of the problems that I've been having with it. And then we can get the old girl started back to getting back on the road. You can see I put some new bolts here. Whenever I had to put the water pump on, I had to put two new bolts on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but there's two new bolts on the top as well, right in there. You can see them a little bit. But anyway, this they call it a diverter. Your diverter valve here, and your intercooler, I guess, for your diverter that goes up here, and it has a tube for your turbo exhaust. It's what Caterpillar used instead of an EGR valve. This truck is a 2005. Like I said, it's listed as a 2005, but manufacturer date is 2004. But this was the first series of the twin turbo, and Cat was trying to go around doing an EGR valve system on it. So they come up with this big major concoction here, twin turbo and all of this. You can convert them back over to a single turbo. I don't think that's technically seen as a delete. It may be, but I don't think technically that is seen as a delete, because this engine and like a 3406E and a 6NZ, they're all basically the same engine, same block, different heads, different exhaust, and different turbos. This does not have a DPF filter on it. It doesn't have any kind of emissions from, you know, your turbo here. Oops, I dropped my ratchet. But from your turbo back, there's no emissions on this. All of the emissions are just right here on it. It would be very hard to tell that the truck was deleted, you know, and brought back to a single turbo unless you're very mechanically minded and you knew this truck was supposed to have twin turbos on it. But some 04s did have single turbos. My W9 that I had was a 2004, and it was a single turbo, and it had not been deleted. It was a what they call a bridge motor. If you listen to Dave at Smart Trucking, he has a Peterbilt that has a bridge motor in it, and it's a very good engine, no problems whatsoever. So I wanted to bring you this here, and I'll put the picture back up again here to show you again the difference in the pulleys. So make sure, you know, mechanics and everybody, pre-trips don't always work. It's always good to do a pre-trip, but pre-trips cannot show everything that is wrong with your vehicle. Like I said, I have owned this truck for 3 or 4 years now, and I had no idea that this was wrong. I just now found it out literally 10 minutes ago. So there's no way that I could have known that this was a problem. This was some mechanic that did this, and he did not inspect his parts to make sure that everything was correct on it, because as you can see, these pins are exactly the same location. The pin on the other one is totally different. So you have a top mount and you have a bottom mount, and they're not the same. They're not the same, and they don't work the same. So anyway, that little problem right there has caused me multiple battery issues, multiple alternator issues, hard starts, the engine actually seizing up to where it would not even start. You hit the key and it was just, it wouldn't even turn over. I was thinking the whole time it was an electrical problem. The batteries would run completely down to 0 amps because the alternator was not turning correctly. It was running on battery power while I was driving the truck. So anyway, be careful, folks. Be careful how you do repairs, and pre-trips don't always work. Not always. So you guys have a great day, and we'll come back with another video very, very shortly.